Should be live, Steve, am I? Thank you. Morning, Laura. Morning, Shelley. Hello, hello. Good morning. Hope you're all okay. How you both doing? Okay, let's hope we can get a few in today. Hi, Patricia. I might have to put my cardigan on. I'm freezing. I'll be alright when I get going. Hopefully the camera angle is okay after only messing about last night. Hi Dawn, how are you, lovely? Hi Margaret. Hi Sue. Morning, morning. Good morning, everybody. Do 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 do. Good morning, good morning. I'm glad. When's the wedding? It's not happened yet, has it? Hiya, Jackie. Good morning. Good morning. Just sifting through me rice papers. I'll explain what I'm doing and we'll try and get to double figures. I know these are the Arden Creative Muse, Arden Creative something. Hi Marjorie, hi Fliss, good morning, good morning. Oh, not long then, blimey, 3 weekends is it? Ooh, it's exciting. Oh. Gosh, I'm very, very cold. My hands are freezing. Let me just give them a blast with my heat gun. That's better. Okay, let's get going. Let's get going. I've got a hair appointment this afternoon, so I can't be messing about. Can't be messing about with the cats or anything today. Straight to it. So today's project, I'm going to be using some of the Arden Creative bits and pieces. I have got the decoupage paper, which is beautiful. In this set there are 4 designs and 3 sheets of each, so plenty to play with. I have already used one on a little wooden plaque that I did a few weeks ago with some of the Stamperia moulds and that, a little bit of foliage and things. So I'm using that, and I'm also using the stamp set from the Hidden Creek collection as well, and this is called Ledger Wings 1, but I'm mainly using it just for the butterflies, not for the backgroundy bits. So that's the idea. And then I've also got I found a load of bits while I was tidying up. A mason jar. Oh, it was only yesterday morning, Jill. I know it feels like I'm just on a constant marathon live at the minute, because this week is a busy week for lives. But it's good, I enjoy it, makes me do work. So I found some old mason jars that I've had for ages, and these have got a little handle on them. However, you could use jam jars. We have no jam jars left because it was our bin day yesterday, so they all went. But I have a multitude of these candle jars. Morning, Gillian, you all right, lovely lady? So these are from a well-known Scandinavian superstore that you may have in your locality. And they usually come with nice flavoured candles in them, but I always feel it's a bit mean throwing these out when they're done with. So what you can do is peel out the little bit of wax that's left in the bottom, melt the rest of it and just wipe it out with a tissue and give it a good clean, and then you can make your own little mason jar hanging jobby with some craft wire. So all you need to do when you're using your craft wire is just do a little loop first, and then wind it round, and then another little loop to close it, and then a longer bit to do as the handle with two little loops there and there. So if you're ever looking for a nice quick project for candles, and a nice fancy decoupage jar, these are really helpful as well. The little jars that you have left, and they come in different sizes and different shapes as well with your candles, so it's always nice to save them and use them. But this one is already got its little wire on it, and what I've already started to do is just sponge a little bit of white gesso over the background of the jar itself. I've given it a good clean. It's still got all my sticky fingerprints on, but I've given it a good clean with some wet wipes, and all I'm using for the sponges is just a little kitchen cleaner that one of the little scrubbies that I've just cut up into a little chunk. So all I'm doing is just dabbing lightly, daubing lightly, little gently, just daubing just a background over this jar so that I've got something nice for the decoupage paper to adhere to. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm just being a little bit spongy. It doesn't have to have much coverage on at all, but enough just for that surface to be covered. I'm not bothered about that little middle bit, because I am going to use this for candles, so that it'll shine through any gaps as well. And I tend to use some nice, I have like flavoured candles, the little tea light ones, so I do like putting them on during the day because it's very relaxing when I'm crafting to have a nice smell wafting at me. So I've already pre-prepared half of it, but it really doesn't take that long to dry because I'm just sponging. Hiya, pal. Oh, are you helping? Nope. Oh, Waffle got a bit giddy then. He thought he could have a little cuddle. How wrong was he? I'm really at the end of my gesso. I'm sure I bought a new pot, Laura, but I obviously didn't because I cannot find it. But if you get to the very end, just use a brush to scoop it out and put it in the lid to act as a little palette. So I've got just my nice That's Crafty gesso, nice little spongy. So it's got like little flecks of glass showing through slightly, because that's the effect that I want to go for. It's like a frosted glass effect then, and it's very pretty. Now if you wanted to, because this it's not a white background, it's like a creamy background, what you could do is mix some of your gesso with a tiny bit of like a brown, just a little bit, which is what I'm going to do now. So I'm just going to pop, this is now covered, But what I want to do is just get the chocolate, the chocolate brown, which is always on hand. So this is from the chestnut brown. This is from the little set of 12 paints. So let's just knock the excess off of this. And I don't want it very heavy, so I'm knocking quite a lot of the excess off on my scrapbook of paper there. And then all I'm doing is just lightly dabbing again over the top of this, and it just gives it a more vintagey look to it. So I'm not going on full strength of that chestnut brown. I just want a hint of loveliness, so that it will help blend that rice paper that I've got, because I'm not going to do a full coverage of the rice paper all over it. I'm just going to cut sections off it. But any sponge daubers will do. But if you can just see, it just knocks that white back a little bit. And I just find that doing the gesso first helps that layer of paint stick a bit. Morning, Maxine, you alright, lovely? So I've hardly got any coverage on at all, but it does knock that white back a little bit. So you could do this, you know, have a look at what decoupage papers that you've got, or rice papers, whatever you're using, and just look at the background. So you could always add whatever colour works. So a nice green would have worked the same way as this chestnut brown. Yes, I'm very good, thank you, Maxine. I'm vaguely awake. I did wake up about 5 o'clock this morning with I think, oh, blooming heck, I've got another live today. But I knew what I was doing. I'd already planned it. I've been very good planning my lives this week. And I've got a little haircut later. Take my mum as well. She needs a little trim. She's trying to grow her hair into a bob. So we're going to nip into town and have a little moochy boochy. Okay, that's nearly done. But I think some of the next ones I'll do, you know, I might do a little bit of a green background or a blue background, just to help that paper blend in. Okay, that's it. Lovely, lovely. So I'll just let that dry, and whilst that's drying, I'm going to prep my decoupage sheets. So let's put my lid on my brown. Oh, and if you want a bit more inspiration for using the That's Crafty shrink plastics, I know Joe was using it last week, pop across to either Crafting Together with All Brands, I did the live last night, or have a look at my YouTube channel, because I've got a little video from last night's live where I used the shrink plastic to make some little charms. You may or may not have seen the post, but there's some little charms that I did with some Melina Dahl stamps. These were with the Stamperia. It's just out of stock at the minute, but you might have already got it, the little Mushroom House stamps from Stamperia. And I also used my Journal It stamps, and before I shrunk it, I wrote on just a little mindfulness quote. Oh, nice, Shelley, that'd be nice catch up. I hope we're going to have a play at the same time. But yeah, so these are using Melina's stamps, and I just used pencil crayon, and then my little journal stamps. But I just thought they would be quite a nice idea for using your shrink plastic, which is very good value, 5 sheets for £3 something. So if you haven't already checked that out, check it out, and also catch up on Joe's live last week, which inspired me to get the shrink plastic out. Right, so the rice paper, I'm going to use a little bit of water just to trace round some of these areas, because I'm going to split it round, so it's going to be a little bit of a collage around the jar itself. So all I want is just a little fine paintbrush. I've cleaned the water today, so it's not really dirty. So I'm hoping, so what this does, it just helps with the fibres for pulling it apart. So we can just trace round the shapes. And I want enough so it'll cover a large percentage of the area. So don't feel you have to stick to how the plants and flowers are growing. You can break areas off. So now it should be easier to tear once I've wet round it. So having that feathered effect when you're cutting round your rice paper, it just helps blend it with that gesso and paint that's already on the jar. But honestly, shrink plastic now, it's coming right back into it. I mean, blooming heck, I've had some from ages ago, years ago. But I rather like it again. Especially for me danglers, for me journals. That's absolutely my new obsession at the minute. Let's just get that little rough straight edge. Oh, so this is the Arden Creative Design Studio Hidden Creek collection. So you get 4 designs and 3 sheets of each. So absolutely tons to work with, especially when you are doing like decoupage bits on jars or surfaces, because you don't tend to use the full sheet in one go. It tends to go a long way. And what I love about these Arden Creative products is that they're really affordable, which is what we want really at the minute. They're lovely colours, aren't they? Hi Lorraine, how are you, lovely? So even these little bits here, don't waste them. So there's a nice little bit of writing on there, so even them I'm going to cut down. They are lovely, and they've got a new collection coming out, haven't they? Are you getting it, Laura, the new one? I hope so. I do hope so. Right, and then just around this bit round here. I like the bits with writing on, so let's just get rid of that rough, or the straight edge, to make it a bit rougher. Excellente, that's very exciting news. I love it. I love it. And I do like that one, just because of the writing. So let's just shift these out of the way, and then just get a selection of these as well, and get sticking. So it is quite a nice, easy, quick project, this, which is what I like. We don't like anything that's too complicated, especially so early in the week. But I was on such a roll yesterday. I got up quite early for me on a Monday, and I spent the whole day tidying my little area to the right of me, which is like my access to my I've got like little cubby holes, and I couldn't ever get to them because it was piled high with stuff. So the Jenga towers are now gone. I've sorted through. I've got 3 empty boxes, a bit of de-stash, but I've also found things that I'd forgotten I'd lost. And it's like going to a craft fair again, or a shop, and finding new products, because it's stuff that I've not seen for ages. Okay, so I've done a little bit of tearing, and let's just see if that'll be enough. So that is now dry, because I've only used a very light coat on that. So the next little thing is to use my decoupage varnish and glue. So this is the Pentart one. If you wanted glossy, you could use glossy, but I always like a matte finish on mine. And all I'm going to do with a nice clean brush, look at me with a clean brush, is just start painting on the surface of this, just very gently. And you need to make sure that your paint in the background is dry before you do this, so you're going to wipe off that paint before you've even started. So I'm just doing it in little sections of about 2.5–3 inches across, and then just going for it with my paper. So light dabbing everybody, Gillian, light dabbing, and then gently give it a little brush over the top. So a nice soft brush for this, not one of your dirty ones, please. A nice clean soft brush, just to gently smooth this down. And what I like about this paper is a little bit thicker than some of your other decoupage paper or rice paper that you might use, so it doesn't seem to tear as much, but you still got to be gentle. And then just move around the bus, as I call it. So just rotate it, and then just add a little bit more paper as we're going round. Oops. So again, very light, get that bit off there. And it dries clear, this decoupage glue, but it also gives you a nice coat over the top. A bit crinkled there, let's push that down. There we go. So I don't want to over glue it, and I'm just moving around. So I'm having to prop it up with my hand now because I don't want that to sit flat on the desk. So I've just got it propped up slightly. Let's get some of this wordage. That can go up there. Oops, that stuck to my finger. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Oh, it's such a relaxing craft, this. So I've not done this for ages either. But I thought I would do a couple of these and give them out as Easter gifts. I've got some family coming up Easter weekend, and we sort of don't do chocolate now, but I really like to give nice little Easter gifts out. So a couple of these I think would be very, very nice. And because you get quite a lot in the paper pack, you can afford to use it. I don't know if you can hear that nibbling in the background. That's Waffle Wheeler having a little wash on my cardigan on the table. The dog chorus isn't working today. They must have all been gone inside because it's raining. So it's quite nice and peaceful today. Don't worry if it's a little bit creased, just embrace it. It's all going to be stuck down. And then I've just got a few little bits. Let's just lift that up. I'm just going to tear down that side there. But it's a really lovely quality decoupage paper, this one. Shh. I know, say that. Don't tempt fate. So all I'm doing is just a little bit of adding just some little areas. See, that was a big piece there. Let's just tear that down. So I've still got enough to sort of half do ish another jar. Oh, nice, sewing beads on. Well, I've got a ton of polystyrene balls that I thought I could do a bit of pinning on. I just need to find my pins. I've got like a load of really small little dressmaking pins that I thought I could use. Let's just shove that on there. Oops. Oh, I've got glue on my desk now. And then I just want a little bit for up the top there. Let's just wipe that up. And remember not to blow my nose on that bit now. I've got that little extra bit up there. Okay, so let's have a quick scooty patooty what that looks like. All the way round. Oh, that's really pretty. I've got a few little areas, so what I can do with this little spare bit is just tear some of the little flowers and butterflies and just stick those in the little gaps that I've got in places. So I'm trying to be very gentle, and if you only talk very quietly, you tend not to rip it. Morning, Joe, you alright? And I've got a little gap down at the bottom there, so let's just prop that up. No, it's not going to prop. It's not going to prop. I don't want to tear it. So let's just get another little bit of that. So out of those sheets, I've just used one and a bit of another one. Put some glue underneath it. But I can't stress enough that you need to make sure that your background paint is dry before you do this bit, or else you are going to spoil the paint effect. That's alright, Joe. We were doing a quick project today. I know, quick for me, eh? And I've just got a little area up there to do, which I'm going to do with some of this writing. There we go. Get off. So you really can be very random with your collaging. I mean, obviously if you wanted to cover the whole lot in one single piece, you can do. And I'm just going to fill some of these little gaps there that I've got with a bit more paper. There we go. Right, I think I'm happy with that. Oh gosh. So I'm just going to give it another little coat. Make sure everything's nice and stuck down. Let's be very gentle. Lovely joblet. And then I'm going to just put this to one side to dry, and then I'm going to stamp out some of those butterflies. There we go. So that's my jar. I know you can't see it properly at the minute, but I'll let that dry, so I'll just do a quick spin round of it. It's just very pretty. Very pretty. Nice bits of blues and the writing. Let's put that aside. Save those bits. I'll let that dry out, but don't waste these. Even the little tiny scraps can be used to fill in your little areas. So I'm doing a Sarah John here. Don't waste any of those little bits. They can all go back in the packet. So if I shove them at the front, I know they're spare, and they can go back. Back in the packet for another day. Lovely. So let's just move that to one side. Morning, Philippa Winter McCartney. How are you? I've just decoupaged a little mason jar thingy with a handle. And now I'm going to stamp out some butterflies. And I'm going to use quite thick card for this, because I want to 3D my butterflies up. So I've got some nice heavyweight white card. I've got my, oh gosh, my hands are freezing. I've got my Fallen Leaves Versafine Claire. And these are the Ledger Wings 01 stamps. And I've even found my stamp block. So I'm going to stamp each one twice. Light tapping. Apologies if you've got your earphones in. And then 1, 2, 3. Hey, I tell you what, from doing the stamping last night, my stomach muscles have really worked hard. They really have. I could really feel the burn this morning when I was having my cereal. So a couple of stamps of each butterfly, and I'm going to do the little dragonfly bit as well. Let's just give them a wipe. Trying to be good and clean my stamps. No, Philippa was fun last night because she messaged me. You know, when Shelley was my responsible adult last night, and I'd failed to colour in one of the leaves from the wreath, and Shelley did tell me, but I didn't see the comment early enough. Well, Philippa messaged me because she was watching the live on Catch Up. She was saying that's like really annoying me that she's not coloured in that leaf, but she couldn't comment to me because she knew it wasn't live. It did make me laugh, that Philippa, because the message you sent, the message about 11:30, didn't you? It was just quite funny. And I know it's not stamped properly because I do need to replace this one, because I've used it and used it, so I do need a replacement ink pad for this one. But I'm okay with it not having a full coverage because I'm going to layer these stamps on top of each other. So as long as one of the impressions is, see, that's a better one, as long as the impressions on the top one is okay, it doesn't matter if you've got little gammy bits underneath. And it's only because of my my pad running out. And then the dragonfly, I think. But I can't get to my other ink pads at the minute, so that's why I'm using this. And I am going to be painting these anyway, so as long as I've got an outline, I'm okay with it. And you know me, I don't always like to use black ink when I'm doing my stamping. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's better. Right, so what I'm going to use to paint them, I'm going to use my Stamperia watercolours because they're on the table and they're easy to use, and I'm not having to use 58 different bottles to colour them in. So there it is, the little Stamperia watercolour set. I love this. I love this paint set so much because I can just keep it at the table and it's handy. So let's just open it up with the magnets. Get my little paper clippy thing. Okay, and then spritz in with a little bit of water just to activate them. Oh, thanks, Shelley. I will pursue that because I know there's a couple of little bits that I want to put in my basket. So thank you. I will oblige and get a re-inker because it is a colour that I use the most, I think, out of that the VersaFine Clairs. So because I've got blues and greens on this, I want to try and keep that colour palette so it all mixy matches, so like browns, blues and greens. So let's get a little bit of colour matching. Let's add a tiny bit of green to that one. There we go. So it just makes it more of that darker turquoise. And then I'm just going to colour in the butterfly. So I'm not bothered about the background bit. I just want the main butterfly to be coloured in. Oh, be careful now. I've got glue things. So again, for this effect, I do need quite a thick card. And you can get little replacement bits for this as well, can't you, Laura? Because my black is getting quite heavily used. So like the excess off of that. It is. I mean, I just like it because it's handy. It's got a little palette there, and it's just a lovely little set. The paints are really pretty. I mean, I like my watercolours, whatever. I've got tons and tons of sets, but this is the one, once I've not lost it, is the one that keeps at my table all the time because it's so handy. It can just sit there. So now I want to just mix a little bit of the green. For this little butterfly here. So I'm not going to complicate it too much. I'm just going to add just a couple of details in the matching colours. And then my little dragonfly I'm going to do in a nice sort of browny colour. Morning Dee, you're alright darling? Better late than never, that's what I always say. Oh, I keep trying to dip it into the empty jar, that's not going to be any good, is it? Let's mix a little bit of yellow in with that. Oh, that's quite a pretty colour. And then just get these wings done. You know, so don't be restricted if you think, oh, I can't use that because it's got a little background behind it. But just pick out the bits that you actually need. There we go, and then let's add a little bit of... So by just using those sort of 3 colourways, it just means I can tie all of the stamps together. That's going to be the outside bit. Let's go a bit darker for that one. There we go. Oh, dog's starting now. You were right, Jill. I spoke too soon, didn't I? Hi, Jean. You all right, lovely? There we go. So all I've done is just stamp them out twice because I want to layer them up. Okay, that'll do, donkey. I think that'll do. Quite pretty. Right, I'm going to let that dry. I'm not going to wipe it off because I like those colours. So I'm just going to let that dry on the palette and then I can use it later. So I'll better shift it there that way because Waffle Wheeler isn't taking any prisoners today. Right, quick blast with a heat gun. It's just practice, Dee, just practice. The key to it is not to have too much water on your brush. You can always add water. I'm just warming my hands at the same time. I might have to put my gloves on when I go out. That's dry, so let's get these cut out. So, because I went over the lines a little bit, I don't have to be very precise either with my cutting out, as long as it follows the vague shape. And I'm not messing about with antennae. I'm not, because they're too fiddly, they always snap off. And I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered. But I will bother with the tail, I think. I don't wanna lose you. Okay, nice, nice, nice. So that's the dragonfly. They're very pretty butterflies, these. And the thing with watercolour is obviously it will blend. Alright, pal? Yeah? Alright. I know, you don't know what to do with yourself, do you, pal? Go on. Jump. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Go for it. Go on, Moth. Keep going or I'm going to snip your tail at this rate. No, he's... Go on. Go, go. He slides half a mile across the table. He's so funny. Not doing bad for time today. Being a very good girl. Oh, Shelley, don't laugh. It's a shame for him. Yeah, it's the weather. It's the weather, Philippa. It's in shock after all the lovely weather last week. Last one. Okay, and then what I'm going to do really quickly, just on the back, is just to give it a little bit of colour on the back. Because they're going to be 3D'd, I don't want them to just have a white background, so let's just get this paint again. I don't want too much of it. And it doesn't matter what colour, I just don't want it to be white on the back, so I'm just using some of this leftover paint. I could have used my ink with a brush just to colour the background, but I thought, while my paint's here, I might as well just use that. That's it. Come on, last little bit. There we go. So now I can close that up because I've not got much left on that. Let's just give that a wipe and fold that over, and then that can go back in my little box. I think it's the only thing that I've got that I've still kept the box for it, because it's so handy to keep your clip in as well. Right, another blast with the heat gun with these. So let's match them up. So that's going to be my top layer. So all I'm going to do, I'm just going to give a little score between the body of it so that the wings are alright. Steve, can you just let the boy out, please? Can you just let the boy out, please? And then the same with this one. And I'm going to layer them up, but so that is raised. So I'm just going to glue just down the centre of that. Got a new one. Are you ready? I'm very excited about that. So a little bit of me That's Crafty adhesive, which is a branny. He's funny, isn't he, when he goes out? Where is he? In the box. Oh, for goodness sake. How's he got on there? On the table. We've got a Jenga tower. When I used to get me Too Good To Go boxes from Morrison's, they always gave us one of those big crates, like a fruit crate. So we have got a massive stack of them. So Waffle has now decided to sit right at the top of that. Right, I just need to I'll just hold it down a little bit rather than mess with it. Let it stick first and then mess with it. Okay, so that's the first one, and then the same with the others. So I'm just sort of giving it a bit of a squeeze between my thumb and forefinger, and then it just helps with that 3Dness, and that's why I used a little bit of a heavier cardstock for doing this, and I always need a little flat bit to stick me pieces together. So stick those two together, and then the same with my little dragonfly. So even if it's only got a little thin body, I always give it a fat body so that I've got a nice solid piece in the middle to stick it down with. Okay. And then, oh gosh, very itchy there. What I'm going to do, let's just shift that water out the way. Now, I just can't get to my heavy body gel, but Laura has got some, but I'm using the 13 Arts one, so Laura will put probably a link for the ones that she's got in stock. I know this is out of stock now. I just can't get to my other one at the minute, so I am just going to use some of this 13 Arts heavy body gel, but Laura does have other heavy body gel available. That's still not just quite dry, so let me just give that a quick blast with the heat gun. Thanks, Laura. Okay, that's nice and dry-ish. So all I'm going to do, making sure these are stuck, I'm just going to add a little blob of heavy body gel And Laura's got the matte one now back in stock, which is very exciting. I do prefer the matte one out of the two, I have to say. So just a nice little blob of this heavy body gel on the back of my little areas. And what I'm trying to do is avoid, it naturally falls back that way, so I'm going to avoid really putting anything on the back here. So I'm going to put a little butterfly up here, stick him on, and then a little butterfly on the other side. Because, you know, when you use these jars, you only put them in one direction. You have a back and a front side showing, don't you? So I'm going to concentrate on putting my little bits on the front of it. So that one can go down there. And the thing with this heavy body gel, it grabs really quickly. Let's push that around there a little bit. So I've got two little butterflies, one there, and then I've got my little dragonfly. My little dragonfly. Let's just get his little wings propped up. So I've got a nice surface area to give a really good blob. Helen, how are you? Are you awake now? They're in the camper van again, aren't you? Looking out at lambs in fields and things. It does look lovely. Don't want any cat hairs in the making of this. No cat hairs allowed. So I think I'm not sure. I might actually stick that just on that section there. So actually sticking it on the jar top. Just like that. Just like that. So what I'm going to do now is get my little tea light. Let's just turn my lights off. I know it's not dark, but you might see the effect in a second. Bear with. Bear with, you lovely lot. Oh gosh. What flavour have I got? Many flavours. I think this is a vanilla. Big light off. Bear with. Oh, isn't it dark? Oh. And then just plop that in. 1, 2, 3. There we go. So now I've got my little tea light in my little jar. Probably might have been better with one of those thingy ones. But anyway, let's try and tip it up. But there's my little jar done with my little 3D butterflies on the outside. So I will take some pictures a bit later when it's darker, so you can see the effect of it glowing through. Because my candle hasn't quite caught yet. But there we have our little decoupaged mason jar with a nice bit of decoupage around it. So isn't that pretty? It is very pretty, and I like using little 3D elements to it. And because I'm using that heavy body gel, it's not going to melt. It's not going to melt it with the heat from the candle. But there we go. I know you can't really see it from now, but I will take some better pictures of it. But there we are, using our lovely Arden Creatives little bits and pieces, because I know a lot of you will have bought a lot of this set, but if you haven't, it's very affordable to do some really nice projects with. So there we go. What time are we on? 12 o'clock on the dot. It's a small miracle. Steve, the door, and the live's finished as well at the same time. Gosh. So thank you for watching. I'll just have to bear with me a second because the door's gone now. I've got a parcel. I think this for me. And thank you everybody for joining. So back next Monday. Is it Monday? Joe is back, and then I'll be back Monday night on Crafting Together, and the week after for here. Keep your eyes out for lots of nice new things on Laura's website, and don't forget to keep checking out the sale pages, because you can get yourself some lovely bargainous things. But anyway, stop messing with that now. Oh, that's a parcel for me. Right, we've stopped now. Thank you very much, Steve. Oh, it's bank holiday. Okay, that's cool. So I'll see you when I see you. I will put some proper pictures up, don't worry, and I will also upload this how-to on That's Crafty YouTube channel, which you need to subscribe to if you haven't already. Thanks, Laura. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a lovely day. I'm going to go and get my hair trimmed now and go out for lunch with Mummy. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye. Thanks, Steve.
Bye.
Bye.